To Love Cars and welcome to a beautiful day in Scotland where we're here to drive this, the all-new 646 horsepower Audi RS e-tron GT. Cool, it's cold out there. And that 646 horsepower is actually a little bit misleading because the only time you ever get that full 646 horsepower is for 2.5 seconds as a boost if you put your foot flat down on the accelerator. Typically in normal driving you get 598 horsepower, which should be enough for pretty much anybody. But as I said, you get that boost if you put your accelerator down flat to the floor, other than if you're in efficiency mode. So it's almost a safety thing to let you overtake safely, and good for drag races as well. But time to hit the open road. Warming up a little bit now, and I've got my heated steering wheel and my heated seats as well. But I got to be a little bit careful because of the all-important range, because of course this car is electric. And talking electric, it shouldn't really be measured in horsepower, it's measured in kilowatts. And this car, the RS, has up to 475 kilowatts and 440 for normal driving. So just in case you want to know the electric side of things as well. And just to put all of that power into perspective, when you consider the fastest, most powerful car that Audi have ever done is the R8 V10 Performance, has 620 horsepower, and makes it quite an impressive little proposition. It feels really nice. The steering's super light, but it's very precise. It's quite a good feel on the steering. All these things is tricking us because it's such a heavy car, 2.3 tons, of course, from all those batteries, but it just feels so agile to drive, which I don't know why all manufacturers don't do the same sort of thing. This has got adaptive air suspension standard, as is torque vectoring and all-wheel steering as well. So all these things are playing a big part into hiding its weight incredibly well on this big old GT car. And because this is the 4Sprung edition, it's basically ticked every single option on the list. It's ram-packed full of everything. It's got LED matrix style headlights, it's got a carbon fiber roof, and it's got these very funky 21-inch wheels. You get 20-inch on the standard car, which I'm not sure what I'm a fan of. It just seems to be the manufacturers, when they build an electric car, they think they've got to build quite funky, wacky wheels on them as well. I don't know, what do you think? And as you imagine from a modern luxury car like this, it's packed full of tech. It's got regenerative braking, of course, as well. And these paddle shifters now, you can knock them down if you want to increase the regen. But it's nothing like, say, a Nissan Leaf where you've got your true 1 foot driving with their regen. It's just quite a subtle way to slow down if you want to.
The powertrain has synchronous motors at the front and rear axles independently, with a 2-speed gearbox on the rear axle to help with performance.
And thanks to its 800-volt battery platform, you can use all the performance you want as often as you want, and it won't degrade, it won't slow it down at all, which is unusual for this sort of performance car. But the thing you need to be aware of is your range, because this got a claim range of 283 miles, but the reality is you're not even getting anywhere near that. You're probably getting closer to 183 miles, maybe even less than that, depending on how enthusiastic you are with your right foot. In fact, when we collected this car, of course it had a full battery, and the battery was only 217 miles, even in efficiency mode. So it's a little bit confusing in that side of things, but you know what? The reality is most of us are going to charge from home overnight, do a set sort of run, so it's not going to matter. But the people that do want a bit of flexibility and they want to go and take this beautiful GT across the continent, I think you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. I probably can't can't do this review without mentioning the Taycan, because of course this car shares so many of the underpinnings with the Porsche Taycan, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels and it looks like a different car. It feels like an Audi. It's got its own identity, which I think is a really strong point for the Audi e-tron GT. This particular car, which is the Vorsprung edition of the RS, and it does feel just like an Audi, any other Audi that perhaps you would get in. Maybe this one's got a little bit more tech, and it's certainly surrounded by the height of luxury, carbon fiber, Napa leather, which you can change in the normal GT for a vegan leather option should you wish to. And you've got a bit of Alcantara as well. So it's a beautiful cockpit, really good quality. And talking quality, I guess it's a good time to talk about its other main competitor, which I suppose will be the Tesla Model S Performance. So without further ado, I'm going to pull in here and show you what I mean. I'm such a big fan of Tesla. I love their vision. I love the fact that they're trailblazers in this marketplace, the direction they're going in and everything they stand for as a community as well. The fact that the Model S Performance is faster than this car, it charges quicker, and it's got a far superior charging infrastructure around the UK and certainly around the world as well. But in terms of aesthetics and looks, this is a far better looking car. There's no question about that. And in terms of build quality, I'm sorry Tesla, this is on a different level. And if it wasn't about build quality and design in your buying criteria, I guess we'd all be buying Dacias and Sangyongs and not Rolls Royces and Bentleys. It has to be an important part of your buying criteria. If it's not for you, I completely get that. But for me, that's an important part of my buying criteria personally. It also shares the same charging infrastructure as the standard e-tron GT, which means on a home charger you could charge it overnight and you would get your full charge from zero. But to be a bit more mathematical about it, you can charge from 0 to 100% in 570 minutes on an 11 kilowatt charger, which is 9.5 hours to you and I. But the reality is, no one's going to charge you from 0, very, very rarely. Typically going to charge from 10 or 20% when you're on your home charger. So it's pretty good that you know you can go to sleep and you know you're going to wake up with a full tank of juice in the morning, not fuel, juice. Using a 50 kilowatt charger, which are the most readily available chargers out there, you can go from about 5% to 80% in about an hour and a half. So that's not too bad. And if you're lucky enough to find one of those big 270 kilowatt chargers and you get the full allotted amount, it means you can charge your car from about 5% to 80% in about 23 minutes, which is pretty quick. It equates to about 62 miles per 5 minutes of charging, which for electric cars is super, super quick, lightning quick. For combustion cars, perhaps not so quick, but we're getting there. It's getting better. The more big chargers, the better it's going to be, and it's only going to go one way. But typically, we all know you're going to charge your car at home, and that's where it matters. Typically. But like me, perhaps you do want a little bit of flexibility if you want to go on a driving holiday or take this beautiful GT on a grand tour. What it's designed to do. Prices for the standard e-tron GT start at £80,000 or £106,000 for the Vorsprung edition, which is only £5,000 less than the entry-level RS version of the e-tron GT. And then you can get the carbon black and the Vorsprung black edition as well, £124,000 and £133,000 respectively. I don't know, that's a lot of money to pay for a beautiful Grand Tourer that you can't necessarily go on a Grand Tour with, because it's not the car, it's the infrastructure, and it's just a little bit frustrating at the moment. For example, we're in stunning Scotland. The roads are just some of the best roads you'll ever see in your life in any country, but there's no chargers. And until that improves, it's making it very, for me, restrictive to buy a car like this, because I need some flexibility. I want to not keep looking down at that range thinking, when's it going to end up and have I got enough? At least with fuel, when you run out, you know there's a petrol station just around the corner. And I know that will be the case with electric cars. It's just not quite there yet for me.